Now you can tell me, guys, did that seem kind of angry? Yeah, a little bit? Well, that's fine. Some of you say yes, some of you say no. Well, I'll put that down to the fact that rarely do black people in our community get to explore the entirety of our emotional spectrum. It's not just from 0 to anger all the time. There's a sliding scale. Also, just because we raise our voices doesn't mean we're angry. If you learn nothing else today, moving forward, think of black shouting the same way you think about white women's tears. In that sometimes when we do it, we're in a good mood. And also, sometimes it's the only recourse of action you have for people to pay attention to your needs. And finally, black people and white women telling us to calm down does not help. Yeah. So now you have that understanding, let me give you an idea of the sliding scale. We all get angry sometimes. And I don't go from 0 to 10, it's a scale. So like 1 for me would be like, you know when you go into a room in the dark, or you're not looking, and you stub your toe on some furniture, but it's so painful, you're like, someone is trying to kill me in my own home. Because once I went into my nephew's bedroom, he had a Buzz Lightyear on the floor, I stepped on it, and I was so angry, I was like, I wish this was Toy Story and you could come to life, because I'd fucking kill you, Buzz. Right. To show you halfway up the scale, I have a condition called misphonia. It means certain sounds make me very sensitive, like snoring or loud chewing. And I'm telling you this because I had to move out of my housemate's flat. I was living with a housemate, I had to find my own flat because this guy would make so much noise when he was eating because he refused to go to the dentist. I would fantasize about slitting his throat so he could bleed out all over the table. Now, be honest with me, guys. Does that seem kind of dramatic? Some say yeah, some say no. To those of you that say yeah, let me ask you a question. Who the fuck chews soup? My housemate, that's fucking who. Yeah. Now, I wanted to give you an idea of what makes me angry, and I'm imagining some of you are like, well, based on what he's saying, then racism must be level 10 for Dane. But you'd be incorrect. Most people of color can tell you we are so used to discrimination, it's become part of the atmosphere. It's something you have to consider in every activity you do. Anything you do, you gotta think about how it's gonna affect you as a person of color in Western civilization. So I would say no, racism is not a 10 for me, it's more like an 8 or a 9. 10 for me would be people still denying that racism exists. And those people are still out there. And some of them are black and brown people too, trying to find work and avoid getting shape-ups at barbershops. The point is, thank you black people that got that. But the point is that, you know, can we still deny the existence of racism in a post-camera phone society, in a world where there are 2 men called Ray Charles and Stevie Wonder, who between both those guys have written at least 3 songs about racism. So if a blind man can see it, it must really exist. Some of you like, but my brown friend says, your brown friend can't play the piano with his fucking eyes closed. So I know that the conversation about privilege is a hard one to have because you live in a capitalist society where you're told you got to work for everything, be a part of this rat race, and for you to win, someone lazier than you has to lose. You've all got the same 24 hours. Right, to get out there and do some work. So if it's going to ease this conversation somewhat, I am now on stage prepared to discuss some aspects of black privilege. Would you like that? Well, it don't fucking exist. How dare you? You're a shy lady. I laid the trap. You sprung it. Did you see that shit? Sorry, mysterious racists in the shadows. I set you up there. I did set you up there. It's fine. I'll talk about one black advantage I might have that a white dude might not have. Some of you may have noticed I have less hair on my head now than I do in my posters. Some of you are like, yeah, Dane, well, if you're doing all right, why don't you just go to Turkey and get a hair transplant? I'm not getting a hair transplant for the same reason I don't eat vegan cheesecake. The technology is not there yet. But that being said, when you're a black person, if you go bald, you can still look kind of cool. There's a lot of icons that have bald heads, like Mo Farah. He looks cool bald. Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan, even my idol Dave Chappelle. Nice and bald and shiny. not all white men have that privilege. If you're a white man and you are not Captain Picard from Star Trek or Professor Xavier, going bald can be tough because people assume that you're old, racist, very sick, or Grant or Phil Mitchell. Did you not notice when Jason Statham went bald, he started doing Fast and Furious movies just so he can go, "My racist, look at all these black and brown people I'm in a film with." Just to cover his back.